Am I the asshole for leaving dinner at my husband's family's house over a comment he made about my miscarriage? My husband and I have been trying to have kids for 3 years. I've had a series of MCs and not a single pregnancy was successful. Our recent MC was a month ago. And although my husband never said anything, up until now. These have such trying times for me personally. The tension and emotions are very overwhelming and I've become too sensitive even at the mention of the topic. He took me to his family's house for dinner last night and my MC was brought up by his mom. The look of disappointment on her face made me lose my appetite completely. She went on and on about what may have caused it, then my husband chimed in and said that he's starting to come to a conclusion that, maybe I'm incapable of being a mom. I was floored for 2 reasons. One is that he'd even say such thing. 2 is that no doctor has told me that there was something wrong with me specifically, so for him to declare I was incapable of bearing children and being a mom hurt like a sting. I looked at him and he was like, "What?" Then told me to not get offended since he was just being honest. He said he loves me and thinks I'm perfect but still thinks that I'm flawed in that area, referring to motherhood. I had it at that point. I just got up from my seat and took my stuff and headed to the door. I said nothing, just made my way out. He shouted at me but I didn't stop. I went home and he came and started unloading on me about how immature and too sensitive and ridiculous I was being. He said he was giving his honest opinion about the matter and I have no right to police the words that come out of his mouth, whether I like what I'm hearing or not. It's still the truth. We argued some, then we stopped talking altogether. He keeps saying I exaggerated and walked during dinner and disrespected him and his family over literally nothing. I'm unsure if I handled this the right way, or yet acted out of emotions. Not the asshole girl, don't have kids with this man. I am almost speechless. I am so very sorry for your loss and heartache. Before you consider another try, I think you may wish to re-evaluate whether this is the man you want to parent with forever. His insensitivity is outrageous, and then he doubled down by attacking again at home behind his interpretation of the truth. What a total awe. Please consider counseling for yourself for your grief, frustration, and to determine whether you really want to continue with this abusive boor. Sue, not the asshole. 1. Being too sensitive about miscarriages is not a thing. They're devastating. Your feelings and sadness surrounding them are valid. I am so sorry. 2. Miscarriages very rarely have an identifiable cause. Most likely, the fetus was incompatible with life for some reason. It's not anything you did or didn't do. 3. If everyone who was incapable of being a mom experienced miscarriages, we wouldn't need the foster care system. 4. He doesn't think you're perfect, and at this moment he considers you little more than a potential incubator and believes your value lies in your ability to carry a child to term. You are not the asshole, but he and his mother absolutely are. Not the asshole. It was his opinion and it wasn't based in any medical fact. Miscarriage is a natural thing. It happens quite frequently. About 1 in 3 pregnancies end in miscarriage, and it can happen for a variety of reasons. It says nothing about you and motherhood. Sometimes in nature, sperm DNA can be damaged during sperm production and transport. This damage is known as DNA fragmentation. High levels of sperm DNA fragmentation have been shown to double the likelihood of a miscarriage occurring. So maybe instead of trying to blame you, he should look in the mirror. Maybe it's his low-quality sperm that's to blame, you know? Not the asshole, you have not handled it the right way. The right way is to change the locks, send him to mom and divorce him. Not the asshole. His comments were way out of line, then combined with the fact that he said them in front of others as an additional line that was crossed. And #X200B. Op. I'm sorry for your loss and struggles to have children. I'm sure the stress and emotions are immense. Know that there are many others out there with the same issues, and there are support groups out there and available if you ever need. The inability to bear children in no way means you can't be a mother. Am I the asshole for evicting my roommate after buying the condo we rented together? I live in a small condo, 600 sqrt, with a roommate, Caitlin. We didn't know each other before moving in. She rents the bigger room and I rent the smaller one. Our landlord told us she wants to sell the condo and I jumped in on the opportunity to buy it. She sold it to me almost 15% below market price, so it's great. I already gave her the deposit and we will sign the papers in a few days. Then the condo will be mine 3 months from now. After me giving our landlord the deposit, Caitlin was ecstatic. She brought a champagne to celebrate, Told me I'm the best and she will save so much money from now on by not having to pay rent. I don't know where she got this from and I thought our landlord already told her how long she has until she has to move out, but it seems not. I told Caitlin that it's a small condo and don't need a roommate anymore. She will have to move out in 3 months, but I'd gladly help her look for a new place. She flipped out. She asked me if I seriously want to evict her and throw her out on the street. She said she thought we were friends and if she had the money to buy the place, she would have let me stay for free because that's what decent people do. Then she switched and started bargaining with me that I can have the bigger room and she will stay in the small room, she won't bother much, and so on. I feel a bit guilty. I really thought it was given that she will have to move out. Maybe I should have told Caitlin before giving the deposit to our landlord. I feel sorry for her. I know she doesn't make a lot of money, but at 26, I don't want to live in a small room anymore, especially if I own the condo. Am I the asshole? Edit. Our landlord told us that she will put the condo on the market in a few weeks. But we don't have to worry. She will tell the new owner that she won't give over the keys right away so we have enough time to look for a new place. We are month to month. I didn't think Caitlin would think she didn't have to move out anymore just because I'm the one who bought the condo. As for the legal issues, where we live, there is no such thing as a lease continuing with the new owner. I can't evict Caitlin, because I'm not the one she has a contract with. Her lease is with the current landlord and the landlord has to give Caitlin a written notification, which seems like she hasn't done yet. Edit 2. I'm still buying the condo. In my first edit I explained what our landlord told us 2 weeks ago. She first announced that she will sell soon and we will need to move out, then I talked to her and eventually made an offer. She immediately assumed she wouldn't have to pay rent? Why? To me this would have been a conversation of if I would then pay rent to you or if I should start looking for a place. You gave her ample time to find a new place and offered to help look. Not the asshole. I am disturbed that Caitlin's first thought was that she would live rent-free. That is incredibly entitled. Did she think you got it for free? If you want to do a nice gesture you could help her look for a place or help her pay for movers, etc., depending on the severity of her financial situation. But you are not entitled to keep her as a roommate nor should you feel an ounce of regret for doing what is right for you. Congratulations on your new place. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Once you have officially bought the condo, find a good landlord lawyer and legally notify her of how long she has to stay. If she stays beyond that, you will have to evict her and having a lawyer do it properly is important. Be careful that she doesn't do any damage to the place. Also, make sure the landlord gives you the security deposit both she and you paid. You will have to return her portion. Not the asshole. It's weird that she thought you'd let her live there for free. Not the asshole. You should have talked to her about the new arrangements as soon as your offer was accepted. It's your choice whether you keep Caitlin as a roommate, but I don't understand how she got the idea she can live for free if you own the place. I mean, she would still pay rent, it would just be paid to you. Congratulations. Not the asshole. Even if you had been thinking about letting her stay, the second she started assuming she wouldn't have to pay rent, that girl had to go. Am I the asshole for leaving during an evening with my girlfriend to go help my ex? Me, 24M, and my ex-girlfriend, 24F, broke up a little bit over 2 years ago. 1 year before our breakup we adopted a dog, Bean. I am no going to lie, we were the kind of crazy pet owners, he was like our kid. Our breakup was mutual and at the end we were more friends, roommates than a couple. The hardest part was figuring out what to do with Bean. We both wanted to keep him in our lives so we decided in an arrangement to please both of us. She has the bigger garden and she often work at home so she has him most of the time. I often go on hikes on the weekend and she has to travel for work once a month so I have him at least a week each month and on the weekends. I have the code to the gate of her garden so when it's my turn I just go and get him. Her brother is one of my closest friend and I hike with him so during the weekend he is the one getting him. If we talk it's mostly to give small update about our families. We know each other since we were 15, and the dog. I know this arrangement is unusual but Bean is our dog and right now both of us can't imagine not having him in our life. 6 months ago I met Anna, 25F. She is now my GF. She never complained or said anything about how things work with Bean. This Monday Anna came over to mine. It was just a casual evening, night together. Around 10 my ex called me in tears. A neighbor came in the afternoon to deliver something and she forgot to close the gate. When my ex came back Bean was missing. She told me that her and her boyfriend looked around but couldn't find him and they were going to call more people to search for him. I told her that I was coming. I asked Anna if she wanted to come but she refused. When I arrived at my ex's place a few people were here to help. Her BF, her brother, the neighbor and her family and some of our friends. Anyway, it took us over 1h but we finally found him. He was fine. We took him home. I gave him a lot of hugs, said bye and left. I came home and Anna was already in bed. When I tried to talk to her she told me that she was tired and didn't want to talk. The next day she was cold and barely talked to me but after work she called me to talk and kind of exploded on the phone. She said that I left her to go with my ex and that she was hurt. That I chose to spend the night with my ex and our friends rather than with her. I tried to explain that I only went because of Bean but she refused to listen to me. According to her there were enough people to find Bean and my ex didn't need my help. Which is true but he is still my dog and it's my job to be here for him. Even our friends came to help. I want to add this is the only time that something like that happened since we broke up. Honestly I don't know what to think. In my mind I did the right thing but Anna said that I neglected her. My friends don't get along well with her so if I ask them they will be biased. Not the asshole, Bean is your dog, of course you'd go look for him. I can't imagine any pet owner who wouldn't drop everything to go find their pet if they were lost. You are not the asshole. You went to find your dog, not hang out with the ex. You did nothing wrong. Plus, you invited her to come along. Not the asshole. You invited her to come and help you find the dog. She declined. If she had gone, she probably would see this event for exactly what it was, not whatever she's invented in her head. I'm with you on this one. I cannot imagine canoodling on the couch knowing my dog was out there missing in the dark and I probably would have been a bit miffed if my ex hadn't called me. If your girlfriend thinks leaving for 1 hour at 10 p.m. on a Monday to find your missing dog, when you invited her to come help, is neglect, she's got issues. Not the asshole. Bigger issues here. No assholes here but you and your ex really need to come to a decision on who gets to keep the dog because this isn't sustainable long term. What happens if one of you moves away and wants to take him? Or your girlfriend moves in and wants to get a dog with you but Bean doesn't get on with the new dog? I'm saying not the asshole, because Bean is also your dog. If Anna knew of the arrangement already, she should have understood that you were looking for your pet, not helping your ex per se. Anna also had the opportunity to come with you, as you'd offered, but she refused. That's on her. If she wants to be weirdly picky and pretend that she has a right to be hurt then she's the off. Am I the asshole for telling my ex's lack of money is not my issue? I, 36F, have a daughter Sadie, 12, with my ex-husband John, 39. We got divorced 5 years ago and I have primary custody while he sees her 2 weekends a month. Last year, he got married to Amy who has sole custody of her kids, 10 and 8F, from a previous marriage. Amanda is a SOM, not for any health reasons or so on, she just doesn't want to work, while John works at a 9 to 5. He makes good money to support them, but not enough to live in luxury. I have a much higher paying job. Since it's just me and Sadie, I make sure she has the best possible life. She goes to a private school, set her up a college fund, and she has much better things than most kids: phone, clothes, etc. I still manage to raise her to be humble and not take things for granted, and she's one of the hardest working people I know, always making sure to get good grades and keep her room tidy. Well, the last few times she came back after a weekend at John's, I noticed that the clothes she was bringing back in her duffel are a, not her size and b, much cheaper and poorer quality than what I usually buy for her. I asked her why that is and she told me that while she's at her dad's, Amanda takes away her nice clothes and gives them to her kids while Sadie gets the clothes they buy from Target. I asked her if she wanted them back but she said she didn't mind sharing since all her favorite clothes were kept here. The problem came when I went to pick her up last weekend. I had a business meeting and couldn't drive her over, so Amanda offered to just pick Sadie up from school, which hadn't happened before. When I got there on Sunday, John and Amanda asked me to sit down with them and when Sadie came to hug me, Amanda sent her to her room quite harshly saying her punishment wasn't over yet. I was confused because Sadie very rarely misbehaves. They sat me down in the kitchen and said that it was unfair for Sadie to be going to a private school while her kids go to a public one, so they decided that Sadie would be pulled out of private school and put in the same school as the girls. They also said I should keep up Sadie's punishment because when they told her she blew up at them, told them it wasn't fair, and yelled that Amanda and her kids weren't even her real family, that all they did was steal. I told them in no uncertain terms to fuck off. I would not be pulling my child out of a school she likes, away from her friends, because they can't afford it. I told them they could easily make as much money as me if Amanda started working in her field because she has the qualifications and the job market is very good. I told them their money problems are not my issue, and if Sadie's items get stolen again or they try to pull her out of school, I'll be taking this to court. They've been blowing up my phone ever since, calling me a selfish and after telling the story to a friend, he told me I was rubbing my success in their face, but I still don't feel like I did anything wrong. Still, am I the asshole? Edit. I contacted my lawyer and we're starting the process of obtaining full custody. I'm taking Sadie to a therapist so I can get permission to keep her with me at least until the courts make their decision. Her next visit isn't for another couple of weeks, so assuming that everything goes according to plan, she shouldn't have to go back there unless she wants to. Not the asshole, and I would make the school aware that any decisions about your daughter need to go through you so he doesn't just do it behind your back. Not the asshole, take them to court, that is emotional abuse. Projection of guilt much, the clothes alone would send me into orbit. Her father is a huge ass. Not the asshole. Start court proceedings now. Send her to dad's with clothes from Target. Everything through text and email. If you live in Canada, at 12 your daughter can refuse to go on her own accord, regardless of court order. Get your daughter to a therapist to talk this out. Her stepmother is abusing her emotionally and psychologically. Your ex is allowing it to happen. Not the asshole. WTF? Shame on them for using your daughter as a tool to hurt you. The clothes thing pissed me off to no end, believe me. I can relate with my own divorce and it's absolutely ridiculous, but the private school thing? No. Not the asshole. The fact that your ex-husband and his wife are pieces of crap, it doesn't surprise me that that is their reaction. But, you have a friend that would respond that way, as no bueno. Friends are supposed to have your back. You work hard for your success, and being successful is not rubbing it in someone else's face. Not the asshole. You're lucky enough to be able to provide for her kid and you shouldn't be expected to give her less because they can't afford it. Amanda chose to be a som. She doesn't get to complain about not having enough money to get nice things, especially since she's been stealing from Sadie. You should really look into getting sole custody cause they sound toxic and jealous AF.